Thank you for pressing start on episode 95 of Underplayed, KZUM's indie video game podcast. Today we have two secret games, the return of our special guest, Jenny Olander, and a review of our featured game, Coffee Talk Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly. Here on Underplayed, we review indie games of all kinds, the games with small budgets but big hearts, the lesser-known experiences with imaginative ideas. I'm Bo Poe, and I have a co-host. What's better than that? He's shaking his cake and human fall flat, powering his radio with the turn of a crank, and playing through games till the backlog is blank. It's the 1,000 times resistant, Google form insistent, funky member of the Bomb Rush crew, DiscoCola. How do you do?
I've got this nagging sense of deja vu about this whole episode. Haven't we played this before? Am I crazy? How are you?
I'm doing just fine. My number one Disco Pie fan. I was secretly hoping we'd have synergy again, but I like what you said a lot. Those are references to our featured game, Coffee Talk Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly, one of the few sequels we've had the chance to feature on our show to date. But we are also very excited because today we have a guest, and it's the return of Jenny Olander, who you heard last episode.
If you listened to the last episode.
We hope you did.
Please do.
You better go do it. You better go do it.
There's actually a good incentive to do that this time.
There is. I don't think it would make as much sense to listen to this episode first. So we recommend going back to episode 94 of our program and listening to that one before moving on to most of this one. But Jenny, for anyone's context who needs it, is the co-host of Lavender Hill, an LGBTQIA+ news, views, and interviews program on KZUM. Someone local here and someone who can easily step into our studio and review Coffee Talk Episode 2 with us. So we're very excited to have Jenny back. We also are looking ahead to Coffee Talk Tokyo later this year, so it's just a good time to talk about these games. We wanted to make the note up top that this episode will be more spoilery than usual because we're talking about a sequel that is a story-focused game. It's very natural that we're going to have to share details about Coffee Talk 1 and some secrets about Coffee Talk Episode 2 in our discussion later on. So be aware of that, listener. We'll give you another warning, I'm sure, when the time comes. We also wanted to let you know, look out soon for a PAX East bonus episode. I will be going to PAX East 2026.
Yeah, you'll actually still be gone when this one comes out, right?
I'll still be gone, but PAX East will have wrapped up.
Okay.
Kind of a weird time traveling thing I'm doing here. But by the time you hear this episode, I will have already been at PAX East, and you can expect a PAX East bonus episode coming your way where we will talk about games that were featured in the expo hall. And I hope to get some good interviews with some devs and publishers as well. I don't actually know everything I'm going to do. I have some things scheduled out. I have some appointments set up, including some meetups with friends, like some cooperative appointment things. We'll see how things shake out. So I'm looking forward to that very much. Disco, is there anything up top you need to report on, reflect on?
I don't think so, man. I haven't had more time than I have had. I have pretty much only played today's games, so I don't have anything game-related.
Okay.
And anything personal I don't care to share.
Okay. So step off. Step off, you nosy, wanna know all my stuff, man. That sounds fair. I also have been very busy, and I don't really have time to play a ton of other games right now. My streams have taken a little bit of a backseat too, but I look forward to playing more games in April. It's wild that it's almost April already. That's just, I cannot believe that. But we will move on since we do have a guest this episode. We want to make the top of the show segment brief. Before we do move on, there are a few easy ways to support Underplayed. They cost nothing. If you haven't done them already, we'd really appreciate you just taking a couple moments to do these things for us. One is you can give us a follow and a 5-star rating on the podcast platform you're listening to us on. That would make us appear more consistently for you and everyone else. Another thing you can do is follow us across social media using the links in our show notes. And 3, sharing our podcast by reposting our stuff and telling your indie game loving friends about us means a whole lot. And as always, we love you. Thank you for listening. It's time for our secret games.
Secret games.
Secret games.
I know you're playing without me.
Secret games.
Well, I'm here to tell you, baby.
Secret games.
I've been playing too.
Secret games.
Secret Games is our segment where we're each going to review an indie game we've been playing by ourselves. I don't know what DiscoCola has been playing recently. He doesn't know what I've been playing recently. We're going to reveal these games and review them. The only thing is it has to be an indie game and it has to be a game that we have not picked to play and review before. So we'll start with you, DiscoCola. Let the mystery be no more. Reveal your secret game for episode 95 of Underplayed.
Now, I need to give a disclaimer to the listeners here real quick. Up top, and this is how the public radio guys do it, this section of the episode will include an M-rated game that acknowledges the existence of sex and is even implied by the very title of the game. So while we are largely a family-friendly podcast at nearly all times, those listening alongside children may want to skip this and hopefully come back later after everyone's gone to bed or something. But all the same, my secret game is a 2016 Choices Super Duper Matter visual novel from...
Choices.
They matter a lot.
Super duper matter.
Super duper matter.
I love that sub-genre of Choices Matter game.
Choices in Coffee Talk matter. Choices in this game, super duper.
Duper matter. Okay. I'm interested.
The game comes from Kinmoku, otherwise known as our previous guest, Lucy Blundell.
I know what you played.
And this game is called
One Night Stand. I love it.
And here, I do want to thank Lucy personally and from the bottom of my heart. After our conversation, she sent me a copy of One Night Stand for the PS4, as well as some very beautiful Videoverse stickers after their episode we recorded with her. And I mean this honestly as someone that loves physical games and the USPS. This is one of my favorite pieces of mail I've ever received. So please check out episode 74 of Underplayed, where we spoke about Videoverse, and episode 84, where Lucy Blundell, otherwise known as Kinmoku, joined us for our review of one of our favorites, 1,000 Times Resist.
Oh my gosh, you said 74 and then 84.
Yep.
This is 95. We're almost doing every 10. We messed up.
Go back, start over. Time travel.
Time travel, Disco. That's right. No, I love that. That's a good shout out. Lucy was an awesome guest.
Yeah, actually, the episode with Lucy is one of our most popular episodes. So if you haven't listened to it already, I assume it's popular for a reason. So go check it out. Moving on from Steam. After a night of fun, passion, and one too many drinks, you wake up the next morning to a complete stranger lying naked beside you in bed. What do you do?
That's such a good synopsis.
Pretty straightforward. Sounds like a one-night stand, I assume. One Night Stand features what seems to be a 100% hand-illustrated experience where you try to unpack what happened the night before and navigate the experience of waking up next to a total stranger. Now, I know there's a lot of things about myself I haven't shared with the listener, but for those that do know me, this won't be a surprise for you. I've never been through the experience of a one-night stand or really anything close to it. So at a baseline, there is a certain level of this game that I can't relate to. So this will likely, unfortunately, play a role into some of my review. But I did put in a lot of effort to try and separate my experience or lack thereof from how I experienced the game. So take my overall review with whatever grain of salt you decide is necessary. But once we get moving in One Night Stand, we, a nameless man, wake up to our phone buzzing next to a naked sleeping woman in bed. and we are currently in the haze of a hangover, including a headache and memory loss. And soon after, the woman wakes up and leaves the room, dashing out of the room as fast as she can. We don't even see her get up. From there, we can point and click on various items around the room to either learn more about this woman, learn more about last night, or simply find our various clothing items and any combination of those options. This woman will leave the room multiple times throughout our encounter, allowing us multiple opportunities to decide what to learn about and how to talk with this mystery woman, and our decisions will result in about a dozen or so different outcomes. At this point, I've seen, I think, 7 or 8 of them, so I have not seen all 12.
You've seen most of them.
I've seen a lot of them, and there's even more achievements based on certain actions you can take that don't necessarily dictate an ending.
Okay, like flushing a spatula down the toilet. I'm thinking of 12 minutes is just where my mind is going.
I mean, that is an example of something similar. Like,
Okay.
I get caught, with a specific item in my possession, but it doesn't necessarily dictate an ending.
Sure. With what you describe about this game and what Lucy told us about the game, there are parts of this that remind me of her story, parts of this that remind me of 12 minutes, parts of this that remind me of like thriller mysteries that I've seen. Maybe it's not that suspenseful or dramatic.
It can get pretty dramatic.
Okay.
I would say uncomfortable, at least. That I usually conflate the two.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's as far as gameplay, it's point and click. There's not a ton to the gameplay aspect of it. It's just a lot of it comes down to which items you decide to activate at what point and which conversation topics you choose to approach.
Cool.
So for things that I like about this game, I do like the art style. There are great illustrations, but they also seem to kind of use like this watercolor sort of thing going on. I don't think it's exactly watercolor, but if you look at the trailer, you might understand what I'm referring to. And generally, it's all just really attractive, and the animations that we do see are really nice. There's a bit of a one-room mystery set up to this game, and generally, I don't love that as a concept, but I think this game is cool in the sense that at all times you get to explore. It feels more natural. Like, it makes sense that this woman in the game would leave the room all these separate times for all of these different reasons that she mentions, especially because your own character has a hangover and is experiencing some of these same things in parallel. Like, maybe you would also like some coffee. Maybe you would also like to have a trip to the restroom real quick. So it does make sense that she is leaving this room for you to explore a little bit each time. This game is exceedingly short, and that lends itself to the guess and check nature of the game to attempt to ultimately reach all the various conclusions. At this exact moment, this game is on sale for like fewer than $2, and even at full price, it's probably worth the singular playthrough that a player is likely to have. You're more than likely going to play more than one. Yeah. So you're getting your money's worth, even if it is super short, if you ask me.
And you, the player, are the one learning more the more you play. But it's not like this is a time loop game, right? This is more just you have the curiosity as the player, and it's so dang short that what if I interact with these items or use them differently another time? What will I see? What will I hear? That's the appeal here with the replay.
Exactly. Yep. And then this will be an incredibly unique complement. The game uses this sorted topic as an incentive, but respectfully. Like, one of my favorite game devs is Inti Creates, but they often use like sex sells in a way that is excessive or trashy, and I would even argue at times problematic. Yeah. Kinmoku, on the other hand, has used a game called One Night Stand to draw in players with this idea of sex, but tells a grounded, vulnerable, and short human relationship that has sex at its foundation, meanwhile remaining tantalizing and interesting to nearly all players, again, because you have that curiosity about how the story can unfold, and it's less about sex or something like that. It's going to be interesting to all of those players it draws in, except for those that are looking for more of the purely pornographic nature of the game.
Well, I remember when Lucy was telling us about the inspiration for this game, remember she said she saw like a guy doing a walk of shame or like coming home from what was clearly something like a one night stand. And he just looked rough. He looked like he was recovering from a long night of some encounter where alcohol was involved or something. And her mind started racing. What's going on with this guy?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not just what this guy did. It's also like, what's his background? What were his thoughts and feelings? How did he share those with whoever he was with? How did they respond?
Right.
That's really cool.
And then last, generally, there is a certain level of troubleshooting this game asks you to do to reach all of the endings. And I love troubleshooting. That's as simple as it gets. As far as things that I didn't love as much, the number of outcomes compared to the amount of things to interact with, compared to the chances to interact with items, can feel less troubleshooty after a while and more kind of guess and check.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I found a way to figure out, this woman's name. I figured out a way to get all of my clothes at the right time. I found a way to figure out what nightclub I met her at and what nightclub I was at before I met her. But, like, I still only have 8 endings. So at this point, it's kind of like guess and check, try things in different orders, see what changes when I do this at this point.
There's some synergy with Coffee Talk episode 2.
Yeah, a little bit.
With something I have to say about the game later.
And then, even though I said you get your money's worth, I do think this game is too short. Like, not literally. There are a dozen endings, and I absolutely love a short game anyway. But using all of the choices that I find remotely moral, I only get about 4 endings, maybe 5. And again, some of this is still guess and check. There's still maybe more good endings. But after that amount of time, I have to think like a person I wouldn't even care to understand. Because I feel like I've explored all the options that I would feel comfortable with in a situation, or even like some of the ones that are like, this is a risk, but I haven't done this, so I'll see what's gonna happen. But after that, you're starting to get into like things I would never do, things I would never say.
So how main of a goal is it to find all the endings?
I mean, that's basically you can play through it once and maybe twice because out of curiosity, but then after that, it really does become about, well, what changes when I do this?
So something feels unfulfilled if you're not finding all dozen.
Right, because after each unique ending that you get, it fills out a gallery on like a smartphone UI that shows, here's all the different endings, and they're all like question marks until you fill them in. And each of the question marks will give you a hint about how to achieve this ending. And some of them still sound like good endings, but I'm like, what else could I have done that is still, because I feel like I've made all the good moral choices, but who am I? I don't know.
Are credits rolling after each one?
Are there credits? I think it's just her. I don't think there are a need for credits because I think she did everything.
Yeah, because when you start the game, it probably just says like a game by Kinmoku or something.
I don't recall for sure now that you say it, but I'm pretty sure it's just her.
I was asking that more because I was trying to imagine the presentation and like the order of how things happen. It's out of curiosity.
It's clear that it's like end of the game, you start a new one,
okay.
Kind of a thing. But yeah, in the end, I do look forward to completing this game. And while there are hints given in-game about how to accomplish this, the number of times I can make decisions compared to the number of decisions and when has me scratching my head. I know there are positive outcomes I haven't seen yet, but I can't imagine how I get there. All that being said, it reminds me of the psychology test we're exposed to in Slay the Princess. And as a secretly nosy person, I'm curious to see how other people play through their first 3 playthroughs of this game.
Like what you prioritize.
Yeah, and what are the decisions you make when you're faced with this new situation? And then all of that on top of the troubleshooting is a fun prospect. So I give this an 8.0 out of 10.
Wonderful. I cannot wait to play this. I I've just been putting it off. I knew you would eventually play it, so I think part of me was waiting to see what you thought.
Yeah.
But about how much time have you invested in getting all the endings you've found?
3 hours.
Okay.
It doesn't take long to play through one playthrough, and there have been multiple playthroughs where I've received endings I've already received. So it's just like I failed to get something new there.
Okay. Cool. And where can you play One Night Stand?
You can play One Night Stand on PC, Mac, Linux, PS5, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and I played it on PlayStation 4 with the physical copy that Lucy Blundell sent us in the mail.
Oh, that's a cool full circle moment. I'm glad you got to play it, and thank you again, Lucy. That's awesome. It is time for My Secret Game. My Secret Game released 10 years after your secret game. That is, it released
It released this year.
It released this year. My game is not a Choices Super Duper Matter game. It is a sequel to a game I have played as a secret game before.
Okay, so there's a secret game I have planned for later this season, and I'm very confident you're going to get to it before I do.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, but as soon as you said sequel, I was like, okay,
I
made it another.
Why do you think I go all over the place for my secret games. Why do you think I'm going to nab it?
Because you've played it.
Oh, like in its entirety?
As far as I know.
Oh, interesting. Well, I don't think this is that game.
It's not.
My secret game is Demon Tides.
Oh, hey! It is a sequel.
Yes.
I'm excited. I hope it's... I was bummed that you felt the way you felt about the first one, so I hope that this changes the tide.
Nice. So Demon Tides is a 2026 platformer developed and published by Fabraz. The game synopsis from the Steam storefront reads, quote, race across open oceans and uncover a kingdom's dark secrets. Expressively platform your way across dozens of locales, upgrading your gear and modifying your moveset every step of the way, end quote. I want to thank Future Friends Games for providing me access to the game. I got to check out the game because of Future Friends, and I'm very thankful for that. This is the sequel to Demon Turf, which I reviewed several seasons back on our show. It's felt like a long time since I reviewed that.
Yeah, a little bit.
Demon Turf is when did that come out? Demon Turf
Like
release
18?
date 2021.
Oh.
It released 2021, but it's since kind of got definitive versions released across various platforms. I reviewed Demon Turf on the show. I found it to be a little disappointing based on what I was expecting. I thought the style was cool. I loved so much of what it offered artistically, but the whole thing felt like, I think I said like eating an elephant. I think it just felt like such a long, protracted experience that it was hard to get through after a certain hour count. And here is Demon Tides. This is the same style of game, a 3D platformer, but with some new things going on. So this has you playing as Beebs, who we played as in the first game. Beebs is a young demon, who we played as in Demon Turf. Beebs' mission in the first game was to become the like demon queen. And she was like this little David against Goliath thing in this underworld. In Demon Tides, Beebs and her friends, including Lucy, Midgie, and DK, receive an invitation from a powerful man named Ragnar, inviting them to his domain. And Ragnar's Rock is the big world where this game takes place. It is a vast open ocean area filled with dozens of islands and archipelagos for you to find and explore. And this world is split into equal thirds. The map is actually a big circle, and so it's split in thirds like you'd see in, math class with like the line coming down and then splitting off. And you start in the lower third of the map. and you explore. You uncover. Everything has like a fog of war over it. You have to explore to see like what's available out there in the ocean. And each of the 3 domains is ruled by a different boss that you have to beat if you want to fully expand your abilities. You are finding scattered golden gears that give you the ability to access new parts of the map. And since you're in the wide open ocean world, you need a way to travel quickly to all of the islands. And the way you do that is Beebs can transform into an eel and just like zoom on the water. And so you're going really fast in this game. At first glance, it might seem like something like Wind Waker, where it's just a lot of water everywhere with some places to find here and there, but you're moving between the places a lot faster as this eel. And once Beebs lands at a new location, she can platform and use a variety of abilities to scale the world and reach treasure chests and help local citizens. Every island has something different going on with a theme or an aesthetic choice. Sometimes you go to more city-like places. Sometimes you just go to a little island for a very short platforming challenge. Sometimes you have to reunite a lost child with its parents. Sometimes there are more combat-oriented locations. You're fighting these mechanisms called gear zerkers that will give you a golden gear. And Beebs has a variety of movement mechanics. She can dash to strike enemies or to initiate a wall run. She can do a spin move to float midair. She can turn into a bat for an extra jump. She can run up walls a short distance and also jump between walls and so much more. There's actually a ton of movement tech in this game, like we've seen in recent secret games like Big Hops. You know, these games, these 3D platformers,
they got your goat.
We're in a renaissance of them first and foremost, but they play around with all these different ways we can move our character. And taking a feature from the first game, as we platform, we can leave our own checkpoint markers and freely reset them in Demon Tides. I remember in Demon Turf, you would go into a level and it was a very concentrated thing. And you could leave a certain number of checkpoint flags as you progress through that level. But this is an open world. That's where this game starts to expand beyond Demon Turf. It is a big open world. We can leave our checkpoint flag in many, many places. There are times where you can't, like if you're on a moving platform or a special kind of platform, or if you're in the middle of certain kinds of challenges, you can't use them. But largely, you might be making your way through this complex, like snaking, platforming islands, and it's a good idea every few minutes to set down a checkpoint flag. You can sometimes put down a checkpoint flag like every platform if you want to be extra careful, and then you can freely teleport back to that checkpoint flag if you fall, which is really, really convenient. And without that, I would not be sitting here talking about the game after having completed it. And then you also pick up talismans that are equipable. They augment your move set to your liking. Sometimes they give you an extra jump while you're in your bat form, or they might let you float to longer distance, or just make certain kinds of jumps higher. They really run the gamut of like effectiveness and abilities. There are tons of them. I have not found all of them. But as we're defeating bosses in this game, we unlock more talisman slots, so we can equip more passive abilities. And you also collect these purple eyeballs that act as a currency. They're actually called items, like EYETEMS.
Nice.
And we can use those to buy more talismans and outfit items from shops. On islands, there are often speedrunning challenges that are optional. You can also leave graffiti for other players to see. And your goal is to explore the islands of Ragnar's Rock, collect golden gears, and discover why Ragnar invited you to his domain. So, I have a lot to praise about this game. I'm very happy to report.
Good.
So, going into this game, I had good feelings about it, just looking at it, and having played the demo, I kind of knew this is going to hit for me in a way Demon Turf didn't. And the full game lived up to that in nearly every conceivable way. Demon Tides is more expressive, it's more interesting, it's more beautiful, it's more fun, I think, than Demon Turf.
Good.
Demon Tides ditches the stop motion, which I actually really liked in Demon Turf. I thought it was a fun stylistic choice. But what we get to replace that is smoother motion, higher fidelity visuals, more expressive motion because we're seeing more frames of movement everywhere. And we've got just like more brightness to this place. The previous game had a darker palette. We're very much in this underworld, which changes its look every so often. But here we're in this bright, sunshiny place that can also be dark, and it can have ice levels and lava magma levels and more mechanical levels. All kinds of things are explored here. You're just always seeing something new. So I love this big world as an idea. A lot of people will point out that this game feels a lot like Bowser's Fury, which I've played, but it's so much more expansive than Bowser's Fury if you've played that. The movement largely feels incredible with tons of opportunities to customize how you play. After like 10 or 12 hours in this game, I was doing the turn jump maneuver where if you start to run in a direction and then you cancel that and then also jump, you do like a Mario sort of backflip jump that gives you extra height. That was something that I wasn't even playing with for a long time. And then I kind of realized I could do it. And then it became my bread and butter of how I was jumping up platforms. But also, all islands feel like they can be approached no matter what you have equipped or how far along you are or how much you know about the moveset. As long as you know how to float, how to get your extra jump, how to run up a wall, which the game teaches you very adequately, you can survive. You can make any platforming challenge work with enough patience. You can get into a collectathon groove in this game too. After I kind of learned the rhythm of how the game works, I was just soaring and just going to every island, collecting stuff, doing the platforming challenges, reuniting this child with its parent, and maybe fighting a gear zerker, checking everything off the list. There's a button you can press to guide you to the nearest items that you haven't found. This game also has lots of charm. It has a selfie mode where Beebs pulls out her phone and she can take a picture of like anything in the background and you see her and you can set an expression with her. It's a really fun photo mode. I love the over-the-top animations. The outfits and hairstyles are really cool. I love equipping them. The dialogue text that happens has a ton of characterization too. So I just think this game's fun. It's so cool. I do have dislikes for it. I thought that progression and what you should be pursuing is sometimes a little hazy. It's not always clear what you're working toward, whether it's a talisman or a golden gear when you're on an island. You could get to an island and you can pull open the map and pull open this collection menu, and it will kind of give you a little preview of what you can find on that island. It might say that there is a golden gear and a talisman, or at least one of those available on that island. But if you're working on a challenge or like working toward a treasure chest, sometimes you don't know which of the two is going to come out of that chest. So if you're really looking for golden gears and trying to progress, sometimes you just end up unlocking like outfits or talismans instead of the main thing you're looking for. And maybe there's an easier way to tell. I just couldn't always tell. I had this weird thing happen where I was able to skip the first boss before going to the second area too. And I didn't realize that I had skipped it. And so I missed out on like an extra talisman slot as well. You can go back to the first area and fight them at any time. But sometimes the game just doesn't require you to do the standard progression things that you're used to in platformers.
Okay.
So this is a game where like the first area of the map is sort of ruled by this jester boss, and he taunts you. He shows up on a bunch of the islands in that lower third of the map. And I'm like, I can't wait to fight this guy. That seems like a big objective. But if you get enough golden gears, you can actually skip him. And I just didn't realize that I hadn't officially fought him. And so I was like, wait, I should have done that. Let me go back. So there is freedom in that. there's also that mindfulness you have to have about like, oh, I need to remember to go fight him.
Yeah, that's kind of like, that reminds me of the first Spyro game. I think largely many of the bosses are optional because progression to the next like hub world is based on collecting so many gems or collecting so many dragons or something.
Yeah, it's a lot like that. Also, like when you're on an island and you're trying to unlock everything about it, islands can have very different rules and very different ideas going on. Sometimes islands will involve finding a key item from a completely different place or like going a little bit beyond the boundaries that you're used to for what constitutes like an island's area. I remember there was like a small island I needed to go to a little swim away from the main island, and I just couldn't figure it out. And I kind of had to look it up. And then sometimes you find these like warp gates that take you to a different place. And that's how you'll get to really high platforms sometimes. But the warp gates are in a completely different place on the map. And there's just no way to know.
Mhm.
You just have to happen to find it along your travels. So there were times where I was stuck and I wasn't sure if it's because I can't figure out the platforming in this area or if it's because I just haven't found something that's somewhere else yet. And so you spend that time experimenting and you get this growing sense of I'm missing something here.
Mhm.
So that happens sometimes. And while I am having fun, I do love a lot in this game. I did spend 20 hours or so getting to credits here. I still haven't found all the golden gears. I haven't seen like a quarter of the map, actually. So you do swim around really quickly. You do find new things often. It's just a big game. It's a big, meaty game, just like Demon Turf was. On the whole, I do enjoy it moment to moment a lot more than Demon Turf, but it is still a big game.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to complete the game, get 100%, you're in for quite a long playtime. You
Yeah.
might need like 30 to 35 hours to 100% the game would be my estimation.
Big games can be scary for those of us that play a minimum of 20 indie games a year.
Yeah. Yeah. So just a word of warning to you specifically, but overall Demon Tides is so much more fun for me than Demon Turf. While the first game felt like eating an elephant, Demon Tides also kind of felt like eating an elephant, but almost every bite was something new and surprising. And I got into a great rhythm with this game eventually once I learned its quirks and how to effectively navigate. I'm not sure it always communicates how its rules work the best, but if you stick with it and you're a fan of platformers, there's a ton of fun and creativity here. I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10 for me.
Excellent.
It's playable on PC, which is where I played it, and apparently Switch later this year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Just now when you were saying Demon Tides feels like eating an elephant, but each bite you're taking something different, actually for the first time made me think about actually what does an elephant taste like. So
I don't want to know.
well, now I'm curious. So
We don't get to try it in Coffee Talk episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly.
yeah, I don't think I have a ton of questions. Mostly I was like daunted by what seemed like a large map, and you seem to have confirmed to me that it is in fact a large map. Are there any like islands or archipelagos that are so small that it seems like you could easily miss them? Or is it pretty clear on the map where every visitable place is?
It's a pretty clear map. It is a big map, so you sometimes have to scroll along it to find what you're looking for. But places you can visit are identifiable. It's like a little blob showing up against, the blue of the ocean. But there are some places that are microscopic.
Ah, crap. Okay.
But you'll find them.
Okay.
You won't miss them. I have faith that someone with your experience of exploration in games, you'll discover stuff.
Well, it's also the same reason I avoid open world games kind of like this.
Mhm.
But cool.
You can also, what I was doing to uncover the cloudiness on the map is on the map, you can place down markers. You can place up to like 9 or 10 markers.
Okay.
And then those markers show up in the real world and they're big spires of light And it's a lot like what we see in open world Zelda games now, but they're these big spires of light. You can't miss them. And so if you know you want to swim in a direction, plop down one of those markers. And I would sometimes plop down a series of them, and I would put them in the clouds on the map so that I knew I was uncovering stuff I haven't seen before.
I like
and then I just know, okay, I go to the white one, the yellow one, the orange one, the green one, the blue one. If I go to those in that order, it'll uncover this like southeastern part of the map. Yeah. So you would probably get into that rhythm too.
Okay. There's a game like that I've played, I think, for Underplayed. I can't think of it though. It doesn't matter. And then as far as collecting the talismans and the golden gears, is there a set number of each of the collectible items in this game?
Yes.
Okay.
So there are 45 golden gears to my knowledge in the game. You need 35 to get credits, and I'm guessing that 45 gets you a true ending or a secret ending.
Okay.
Is my guess. I haven't actually confirmed that, but I got the minimum required to like fight the final boss. And then, every talisman is like unique and comes from a certain place, whether it's a treasure chest on an island or from a store that you buy with your currency.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all I had.
All right. Well, those are our secret games, One Night Stand and Demon Tides. We will move on to welcoming Jenny Olander back onto our show for our review of Coffee Talk Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly. It is our featured game. Our guest is a broadcaster heard on the air and is one of the illustrious Lavender Hill pair, advocating for the communities of LGBTQ+ and letting you know when to make a fuss. She's the KZUM programmer who's starting the clamor. We're filled with enamor for Jenny Olander. How's it going?
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you for having me once again.
You didn't stumble into the studio this time.
I did not. I actually found my way in like a normal person. I walked in on my normal to human feet. Contrary to popular belief, I don't have satyr legs or I don't have tentacles. I also don't float in like a specter.
You know what? My youngest kid has been, right now, their favorite animal is an octopus. And so they'll walk around on the ground like an octopus. And they'll ask me, Dad, can I walk like octopus when we go outside? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Let's just go.
Have they seen Octodad?
No.
Yeah.
You got to show them
He's got
Octodad.
a good thing going.
Well,
Yeah.
so the one thing that they love is the consortium from Another Crab's Treasure. So after they saw that, they like, Dad, I'm Octopus Crab.
Love it.
Yes, I know.
I love it. Well, Jenny, welcome back. Thank you for joining us for Coffee Talk Episode 2. We had to have you back. You know, This is a two-part deal.
Yeah, it is a two-part deal. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. So we'll get into the game a little bit. Now, for listener context, if for some reason you're listening to this episode and you didn't listen to the Coffee Talk episode, we had Jenny on already, and we talked to Jenny about all kinds of wonderful things last episode. So we recommend you listen to that episode first if you haven't. Or you could be chaotic and just start here. I guess we can't force you to do anything.
I am not your mom, but you should listen to the first one because in this one, we're going to be probably talking about some spoilies for the first game and also maybe the second game, depending on how crazy we want to get.
Yeah, so I think it's necessary to talk about Coffee Talk 1 and a lot of spoilery moments if you're going to review the second episode. So we've already forewarned you at the very tippity top of this episode, listener, that this one's going to be a little bit more spoilery and a little different.
Beware.
So we'll get on to talking about Coffee Talk, Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly, which is a 2023 visual novel developed and published by Toge Productions. The game synopsis from the Steam storefront reads, quote, "Dust off your coffee machine and prepare your warmest smile to meet your customers again in the second episode of the much-loved coffee brewing and heart-to-heart talking simulator, Coffee Talk Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly."
Have I mentioned that the way you say hibiscus, which is, I pronounce it hibiscus, it
Oh, interesting.
throws my brain for a loop every time?
You want to know a secret? I actually used to say it as hibiscus, and then
Yeah.
I heard Disco say hibiscus.
Ah,
I didn't want to
I've
say
never
anything.
heard it not hibiscus.
I didn't
before.
want to say anything, but I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong.
it's not so much a right or wrong thing. I've never heard it that way because I don't think I'd ever heard it before. So I saw it and was just like hibiscus.
Well, then I went online
Uh-oh.
and I searched.
Am I about to be proven wrong?
I searched that word pronunciation, and this is what I heard.
Hibiscus.
Ah, it's over for
And-
me. It's over for me.
I can't
was
believe
like,
you had that prepared.
What? I was like, what? So similarly, I was in the same boat, and I've been trying to correct it. And there was, I think it was the first episode of this season or the last episode of the last season where we previewed this season. And I did say hibiscus. There are recordings of me saying hibiscus.
Oh.
And I've since tried to correct and relearn this word.
I think it's largely inconsequential.
I
but
do think that's true. Regardless of which way it's pronounced, I'm going to be an obstinate American and pronounce it the way that I want to, contrary to all available evidence.
I like that.
Mm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Coffee Talk episode 2
Hibiscus.
and Butterfly is one of the few
Plausible
sequels.
deniability.
Just every time we
We
say
add it to our soundboard permanently.
and it's the only thing on our soundboard. It is one of the few sequels we've talked about on our show to date, and we're at that point where we've reviewed a lot of first games. Now we need to start talking about a lot of sequels. So it's great to have you back on for this episode, Jenny.
I have a terrible secret to reveal.
What's that?
So last time, I had basically 100% of the game. The only thing I hadn't done was not do the extreme challenges.
Mhm.
This time around, I have not done a full second playthrough.
Oh.
I played through it once, ran out of time, and have not had a single spare moment in the last 2 months to play it.
So you're going off of your memory.
I'm going largely off of memory.
Yeah.
I did earlier today jump in a little bit to refresh myself on the vibe and some of the characters. I went through, got almost all the special drinks because there's one special drink you can only get in the story mode and not just in free brew.
Oh, okay.
And in order to get that special drink, you basically have to have a perfect
Yep.
full through run. And then you have to give I can't remember his name, the satyr guy.
It's Lucas.
Lucas. You have to give Lucas like the exact drink, and that's how you get all the drings there.
Yeah.
Ah,
and
okay.
he's like especially like
Oh
the,
my
the clues
God.
are very cryptic compared to most
Yep.
of the other clues.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I actually, slight spoilers here, there's a lot that I haven't seen in this game to date, but I have rolled credits. But we'll set up the story and setting and then the gameplay and talk a little bit about the history and significance of this title. So again, this is a game where you play as a barista running Coffee Talk, a coffee shop that opens at night where customers are welcome to come and chat about their lives. It takes place in an alternate Seattle, this time in 2023. The first game took place in 2020.
One of the days actually is my birthday.
Oh, nice.
Which was, it was in the late times of September and early October, and my
Yes.
birthday's on the 23rd.
Ah, very cool.
Yeah.
Kind of right closer to the beginning of the span of the game, I believe.
Yeah.
And this society is inhabited by humans and fantasy creatures coexisting. Here are the characters we talk to largely.
There's a lot more this time.
There are some characters added, but the ones that we see returning are Bailey's and Lua. That's the elf and the succubus who are wedding planning in this game.
Mm-hmm.
There's Georgie, the local police officer who's in this game, he's investigating acts of vandalism.
Indeed, he is.
There's Gala, who's a werewolf who works at a hospital and was formerly a bodyguard for Hyde. There's Hyde, the blood-sober vampire with a modeling background.
New career for him as well. Very exciting.
Yes, there's some developments for Hyde in this game we'll talk about.
Hyde is my favorite character, and it's not even close. Like
Yeah.
he was my favorite character in Coffee Talk 1, and he is by far my favorite in the second game as well.
Nice.
It's so good.
Nice. And then there's Myrtle and Aqua, the orc and Atlantean working in game development. There's Rachel, the Nekomimi pop star, and her father and music manager, Hendry. There's Silver and Amanda, two aliens. And then there are...
Amanda is not recurring. Amanda's new.
Yep.
And
Silver is recurring, but kind of.
And then the two of the most prominent new characters otherwise are Riona.
I pronounced it Riona.
Riona, a banshee who wants to be a soprano in an opera, and Lucas, who we just mentioned, a satyr and social media influencer. And there are other minor characters and appearances that happen if you satisfy certain requirements. But when it comes
Ice agents. Sorry, fire agents.
right, they're fire agent, a very timely appearance by some characters we don't like. But when it comes to the day-to-day act of serving drinks and interacting with people and listening to their stories, that's who I wrote down as
They
people
are
we
the
talk
ones
to.
that are tracked in our relationship tracker.
Exactly, exactly. And your objective is to serve drinks, listen to these customers, and provide an environment that allows them to express and explore their stories.
As far as gameplay goes, visual novels, they again don't have much in terms of gameplay.
This one had a little bit more than the last one, though.
Marginally. Very, very marginally.
They play with it a little bit more. We'll get into it.
So we go through all the different dialogue. Occasionally we'll be asked to make drinks, so we will assess what is asked for and try to create something that meets the criteria based on the ingredients that we have that night. And in this drink making game, you will select up to 3 ingredients for each drink, with duplicates allowed. So, for example, you can select coffee for all 3 ingredients, and you'll always start with a base of coffee, tea, green tea, chocolate, milk, and then introduced in this game is butterfly pea and hibiscus. Hibiscus.
Sorry. I wasn't.
No.
He closed the tab!
Hibiscus.
Just gonna have it on speed dial right here.
So you'll have those as the base. You can't just have a cup full of honey, but you can go green tea, honey, plus more honey. And sometimes order will matter, so doing tea, milk, and ginger doesn't yield the same result as tea, ginger, and milk. I'm having deja vu over here.
I mean, I think you had the exact same script last time.
Yeah.
It's almost as if I copy and pasted it.
Yeah,
as if it's almost the same.
You also did get something wrong. It's not up to 3 ingredients. You have to have 3. Otherwise, it will not allow you,
do
to.
have to
True.
have 3.
It will
That
not
is
allow
true.
you to brew.
Yes. But then you can...
Hibiscus.
Sorry, my hand slipped.
Trigger finger,
My hand
goodness.
Sorry, I'm a little too eager now. Okay.
And then as you create the unique and special drinks, those will get recorded in an app in your smartphone. And on your smartphone, you have 3 other apps, one that tracks social media and knowledge of the regulars that arrive at the Coffee Talk Cafe. There's another app. I believe the Headlines app returned in this one.
Yes, the Evening Whispers.
I didn't open it this time.
I did not either.
Whoa, I opened it. I didn't open it last time.
Oh,
Well,
interesting.
because this time around, because Freya is, she was the one writing a lot of the columns in the last one, and she's not around this time, so it's not as prominent.
Yeah, and I usually just was satisfied with what's shown in between each day. And then again, you also have the return of all of the various lo-fi chill beats to make coffee to, and that's sort of it.
No, it's
you do.
not. You missed something.
I didn't miss it.
You
I'm not
didn't?
done.
Oh
I'm
my
not
god!
Done.
You said that's it, though.
I said that's basically it.
Oh.
On top of those new
Oh.
ingredients, the
I
game
also thought it was done.
the game does add items that can be left behind in a bit of a lost and found type of drawer. These items can either be returned to the patrons that dropped them, or at times be passed on to other characters per the request of the original owner.
Or deliberately forgotten.
Or deliberately forgotten, but that's not the intention.
Sometimes it is.
I didn't encounter anything that was
There are
intended to be
achievements
forgotten.
specifically for
Well,
forgetting.
for achievements, but like you're intended to deliver an item.
Mm-hmm.
So you're the middleman. And that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the second Coffee Talk game and will be followed up by a spin-off, Coffee Talk Tokyo, that is still slated for release in a few months. Hibiscus, oh shoot,
Oh, it's over for you.
Hibiscus.
and Butterfly was originally planned as DLC for Coffee Talk, but was expanded into its own game due to its size and scope. And shortly before this game's release came the passing of the creator of the series, Mohammed Fahmy, very sadly. I remember seeing that a lot on
Steam page.
social, on Steam page, on social media. And this loss was not just felt with the release of this game, but with other Toge Productions games. So a very sad loss for the indie gaming world, for the gaming world in general. So Jenny, let's just get into this now. I don't think we need to ask you why you picked this from our list. because you went into that with Coffee Talk 1 last time. But
Yeah.
what are your overall feelings about Coffee Talk episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly?
I have mixed feelings. Again, these mixed feelings could be brought on by the fact that I have not done a full second playthrough. But one of the reasons I liked Coffee Talk, like the main reason I liked Coffee Talk, was because the game successfully lies to the player for a significant majority of the runtime, even into a second playthrough. The second playthrough is where you're really supposed to understand what is going on. And the game basically opens with, oh, hey, you're a time-traveling alien, and your time-traveling manipulation is the reason why your Coffee Talk establishment is so popular. The game opens with that. And that, to me, is like, okay, the context of that is the only reason the story makes sense, but it removes a lot of the, like, the developer's trick that I liked about the first game.
The surprise.
A surprise. And so that's one of my biggest negative feelings about this game. Although from a game design perspective, it is, in my opinion, obviously superior. Being able to like serve drinks more correctly or more or less correctly is still good. But the ability to give people the items that they need, or sometimes give people the items that they're not supposed to have and be able to kind of figure out who's supposed to receive what to get specific outcomes, I think is much more interesting. There's also more branching story paths, which I think that the first game desperately lacked. And I think the amount of story branching in the sequel is probably what I would have preferred in the original. Just like a little bit more things that can happen.
Yeah.
There are some characters that just like, if you don't serve them the correct drinks, like the first 2 times they're there, they just don't show up anymore, and it kind of screws over the rest of the story. And the story has to contend with that. It's very cool. From a game design perspective, from like a moment-to-moment perspective, I think that Coffee Talk 2 is largely superior. I think it is too much of a sequel to the first game. I think that it is seriously hindered by the fact that like Aqua and Myrtle show up again as recurring characters. I think that the continuation of their story is good, but I think the game would have benefited from new characters with new problems, as opposed to we don't like the only reason that you know who Myrtle, like we got attached to Myrtle and Aqua in the first game because they kind of like show up at different times and they show up at the same time, and then they discover that they have something in common and they start working together. In the second game, they're already doing that, and they're having a kind of a fight between them, and then they resolve the fight. There's no like really character intermingling outside of these stories, which is what the first game was really good about. Second game, not so much. Things are a lot more siloed.
Things can feel detached. There were certain characters or pairings of characters that I found felt like they could exist, like their story in this game could be in this game or the first game. It doesn't really matter which game it is. And I think that's a sign that maybe those characters aren't as well integrated. Jumping back to what you said a second ago, when you said making drinks more or less correctly, do you mean times where someone says like, just give me something that's sweet? You know, like there are times where it feels like it's a little bit more open-ended.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Kind of. Like there are some times when sometimes a character will say like, give me a sweet coffee. Well, I guess that's a specific drink, but you can also give them like a coffee that has honey in it, and they'll be like, this is close enough, as opposed to, oh, this is what I wanted.
Yeah. You're not locked into the exact ingredients of like these 3 in this order for this one person this one time, always.
Yep. And then there are some times where it is literally impossible to make a drink that the character wants, which I think is really cool. The most standout one is when Hyde is like, there's a drink that the previous owner of this bar used to make. I want to see if you can try to replicate it. And you literally cannot do it. Your character, there's a lot of telegraphing to make that very clear. Like at the beginning of the day, your character's like, shoot, I bungled my order sheets and I don't have ginger, and all the ginger I have is unusable.
That's right. Yes.
And so,
I'm remembering this.
And so I think it's like the Raja drink, I think it is. That's the drink Hyde wants, and you cannot make it. As opposed to the first game, where you technically can make the Galahad the first time.
Right. you're supposed to be guessing that second or third ingredient.
Yep.
And you might stumble across it. Yeah.
Hyde gives you like 2 or 3 chances to make it, I think. And I think I made it on the 3rd try. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Very cool. Anything else you would call out as a praise or criticism of the game?
I don't know, because I haven't like gone through everything in meticulous detail. I can't really say too much more about it. Just on the amount that I did, I really enjoyed where all the various stories kind of went, even if they did feel kind of siloed in some cases. When they did intertwine, I really, really loved them. Riona's arc is incredible. The fact that like she is like basically self-described from an isolationist community, trying to make it big in like the city, trying to do like singing work, and is unable to do so because of who she is. She's a banshee. People are scared of banshees. And the fact that Lucas is deliberately trying to like kind of crater his own career by doing something interesting, and them coming together to create something interesting at the end with Rachel's help. It's such a cool way that everything kind of spirals together. And then the other like main, there are 3 main story beats, or there are 3 main story things going on. The first is that. The second is the vandalism investigation that Riona also provides a lot of helpful context about and fills out the world of Coffee Talk significantly. And then the third one is the wedding of Lua and Bailey's.
Yeah.
In which Hyde learns that he may want to be a photographer.
Not on my bingo card.
It's so good. My favorite bit of that is at the end when Gala and Hyde, it's like their little like, this is what happens after the game. There's this thing, Hyde, people keep praising Hyde, which he hates but secretly loves. And I'm like,
That's right.
That's my boy.
Yeah. At the end of the game, we get that summary of like, here's where everybody ended up. And that's always helpful for kind of understanding how you landed with the stories, but also the achievements are telling you that too. Yeah, the achievements are popping in real time saying you got the good ending with this character.
I got my first and only time through, I'm pretty sure I got like all the good endings for people's storylines. Oh, I guess there's also the other storyline of Silver and Amanda that I completely forgot about.
That one felt a little bit more secondary to me, but there could be more that upon replay that's explored that I didn't see.
I don't know. I know that there's some stuff related to it. I cared about Neil from the first game, and at the end, if you get all the stuff, he reveals himself to become Silver now. And I liked seeing Silver's development. I hated Amanda. I was like, this is just Neil again. Literally, they're referencing Neil again, like the same spacesuit, the same
beats. It's the same beats, like comedic observations about the world from an alien's perspective.
It's identical, and I'm like, I don't care. I just want to talk to Silver. Go away, Amanda.
It kind of showcases the hive mindness, like how they all have that perspective when they come to Earth. But not a lot new there. I did chuckle a few times at some of those jokes.
I did as well. And I thought the inclusion of Amanda was less than ideal. I would have just liked to talk to Silver specifically.
Yeah. And it's interesting because we're seeing characters now 3 years on from the first game. The characters that return, Silver is a lot different 3 years later. And
big fan of Star Trek.
Yeah, it's very cool. Immediately apparent from the design. Cool. What would you rate Coffee Talk Episode 2 Hibiscus and Butterfly out of 10?
I believe that the score that I gave Coffee Talk 1 was an 8.5.
Yep.
Disco, is that right? You have your spreadsheet?
Yes.
That's right.
I would give Coffee Talk 2 a 7.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
It did like the thing that made Coffee Talk special for me was the developer's trick. Other than that, it's pretty standard. And it's just a well-written visual novel, which we have a lot of those around. But the fact that the game tricks you is what elevated it for me. And this game doesn't really seem to do that.
I'm very curious how excited you are to go back and revisit things. If you were to have time, if you were to feel the freedom in being able to do that, would you enthusiastically do that?
I mean, the branching, the increased number of story paths makes me a little bit more intimidated to do so. I'm very willing to. But if I have the time, I mean, because who knows? Maybe there's like some other mystery that I just can't see coming that'll completely change my mind on this. But right now it's like there's no like I'm not being lied to. The first game I kind of knew that something was going on, and this second one just all the cards felt like on the table, and I'm like I'm not uncovering a mystery. The player because the subtext of the first game is that the player character is you, and you don't know that you're a time traveling alien, and you only find that out afterwards, after like doing your time traveling, because you don't even know you're doing it really. You're just doing it. And then afterwards, when it becomes explicit, it's like, oh my God, it's all canon. In the second game, all on the table. You don't need, like, your character's like, I'm not an alien. Points fingers together.
Right. And there are times like at the end of the day where it's like, you just said something to someone walks out, and you say something else that alludes to that your secret.
Yep.
It's like a little wink, wink.
In the first
but it's
game,
for no one.
In the first game, your character just didn't really do that. In the second game, they do, and I'm like, I don't like it.
Yeah, this game doesn't have another thing, right? It's just, it's kind of that.
By the way, speaking of the player character, we talked about it last time. Did either of you change the name of your player character?
I did change my name.
At this point, I've already gone through the game.
I was invested.
And so now it has to be Disco again. It's the same world. Why would I change it at this point?
I did change my name from Bo to a new name. Yes.
What is the name?
Grigina.
Grigina.
Did you stream this one?
No.
Okay.
Grigina is like my go-to silly name in games where I don't feel like attributing my own name to a character. It's like,
I see.
A friend of mine on Twitch suggested it one time when I was playing Demon Souls. Like we were workshopping names, and you were just like, what about Grigina? And I was like, oh my God, that's really cool.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I was Grigina this time.
Amazing.
Lovely.
And I chose a different name because, like we said last episode, I slowly regretted more over time that I chose my own name for Coffee Talk. I wanted a character that felt like a character I was playing, not myself, because I didn't feel like that was fitting.
Yeah, at this point, for me, it felt like the character from the first game. So it's just like, it was named Disco.
It was a little strange when people like say hi again. It's like, well, technically I have a different name now, but I guess that can happen, you know.
I've done it before.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
My name hasn't always been Jenny.
Yeah, there you go. So Disco, what are your thoughts on Coffee Talk episode 2? Hibiscus and Butterfly.
I like the look of the game. I've always been a sucker for pixel art, so longtime listeners know that about me. But I think the pixel art in this game is done exceptionally well. Everybody and everything looks amazing, and everybody is exceptionally expressive. There's that deja vu again. I like the new characters, Riona and Lucas. I think they're great additions to the cast. I like that Georgie is in the game a lot more than in the first one, because he felt super passive, like barely a secondary character in the first one.
Old man with wisdom kind of vibes in the first one. This time he's actually doing stuff.
I was like, oh, he's got a flip phone just like me. That's cool. But by the way, while I have flip phone out as a topic, flip phone people don't really leave the flip phone on the countertop when they're at an establishment.
They put it in the pocket?
They just leave it in the pocket. There's no, but like Hendry and Georgie.
Are they afraid of it being commented upon?
No,
okay.
There's no reason to have it out.
Okay.
You just wait until you hear the texting, and then you're like, oh, okay, now I have a reason to look at my phone.
So that just ripped you out of the experience every time he would leave.
No. People don't remember that that's the way it works.
Immersion shattered.
I'm just letting them know so that they can do better.
Now that I didn't really comment about it in the first game, but I kind of do love how, like, when every character has their phone on the table, their phones are all different.
They're all different.
Like, specifically Lua's, hers has little devil horns on it, and I always love that little detail.
Yeah.
I played these 2 games on my Steam Deck, and there are times where someone's phone, they get a text or something or a call, and the haptics, like the vibrations in the Steam Deck, go off like a phone, and it's very accurate.
I think it does that on a DualSense too.
Yeah, I bet it does.
But even Hendry's and Georgie's flip phones are different too, which is barely, but they're
I
different.
love that.
Yeah.
Little details like that are so cool.
Anyways, all this to say, I love that Georgie's in it a lot more because I liked him. I like that there is a shelf of knickknacks in the back that clearly indicates like how much of the game I've seen, whether it's good or bad.
Which of Rachel's singles you've managed
Exactly,
to
yes.
create?
Oh,
Yeah.
you know, I was noticing those knickknacks, but I wasn't paying attention to them over time.
I had one that seemed like it was there from the beginning, but then there were like more and more filled out that I recognized. I was like, oh, this is like a progress bar. That's
Cool.
nice.
Yeah. In addition to the progress bar.
Yes. Largely, I find that it's easier to arrive at all of the unique drinks that these characters want when compared to the first game.
Mhm.
There's less ambiguity in their requests, which I appreciate. And perhaps my favorite moment is when one of the characters asks me to make a drink from when we first met.
Yes.
And the drink from their first drink from Coffee Talk 2 meets that requirement, but so does the character's drink from Coffee Talk 1.
Cool.
So if you make their drink from Coffee Talk 1 that
Oh!
they first
I
request,
assumed that it was the drink from Coffee Talk 1.
I did at first.
What? Oh. Wait, what? I forgot. What is Georgie's? What is?
It's
that's
not Georgie.
It's not Georgie.
It's Hyde.
It's Hyde.
Yeah.
Right. God, I forget what it is.
I don't remember either. I had to look it up, but
Yeah.
I looked it up and I was like, I wonder if this is like going to give me a secret dialogue. I don't remember if it's different from just giving him the red drink, but I thought that was a nice touch that both meet the
Do you
requirement.
want to know what it is? I think I know what it is.
Yeah.
It's the coffee ginger.
Okay.
Is that-
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't remember off the
I
top of my
think-
head. That's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was my favorite moment of the game. It reminds me of games that like recognize you have a save file from a previous game and then
Yeah.
do something a little bit extra.
The player character's a time traveler.
Yeah.
Like it makes because Hyde at this point, Hyde knows that you're a time traveler.
Yeah.
They figured it out, so they're just like, give me the drink I'm gonna have tomorrow.
Yeah. It's a casual thing. It's kind of fun that it's casual.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do think that this could have elevated just a little bit more for me if there was like that save file recognition thing, but there isn't, as far as I know. As far as things I don't like, generally speaking, I'm still typically not into these kinds of games or reading overall. So again, still a bit of a drag for me, and I struggle to turn it on sometimes.
Disco is contributing to the American illiteracy crisis right before our eyes.
You know, I found out recently, I thought that I was like dyslexic, but I think it's more of like aphantasia, if you've heard of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's where you
What is
can't
that?
conjure images correctly in your
Oh,
mind just by
yeah.
reading.
Yeah. I struggle
Um,
with that too. Sometimes I have to reread things just so that I can give myself a
Yeah.
chance to think of an image.
So reading is work for me.
Yeah.
Especially fiction. Anyways, all of this, moving on.
Is this why you work at a radio station?
Yeah, a little bit, probably.
probably.
Yeah, because I learn better with sound.
Yeah. He doesn't read the on-air announcements.
I do, though, but it's just like words that go in my eyes and out my mouth. No brain work. The only brain work there is punctuation.
The gesture for that. I just pictured literal words
I would-
going through your face. Okay, sorry.
So you can picture it.
I guess. At that time.
Anyways, going back to one of the things I praised about the game, there is a downside to drinks being easier to figure out. And that's I'm getting all the good endings quite easily, which should sound like a good thing. But this is where I didn't explain what I've done in the game. I've got all the good endings. I've got all the bad endings. There's just a couple endings that are like sort of mid-grade that I'm missing. And what I found was that when I was going through and getting all the bad endings, I actually liked them a bit more.
No way!
Yeah.
You gotta tell me.
I just think
Because doesn't Riona just stop showing up at one point?
Yeah, and it's not necessarily hers, but like especially like our returning characters and Lucas, they just have more down to earth, more human, for lack of a better term, conversations. And there's just a lot of my favorite moments were actually exploring the bad endings because we got to see this vulnerability that you don't really experience when everything is just
Hunky
tip top 100%, you know? So
And to the game's credit, it still takes an absence of a character and it continues going. It reckons with those things happening.
Yeah. Next, if I'm playing over multiple play sessions, I find it incredibly difficult to remember which character I'm supposed to give specific items to. And this is where those trophies for giving wrong items or forgetting items are helpful because that's the only time I recognized. I was like, oh, I didn't even remember that I had this thing that I picked up 2 days ago in real life. Like, so the item mechanic was a bit of a drag until I have access to just so much fast forwarding. And so at first it's just like I'm forgetting everything because I'm playing 3 days over the span of 2 real life days, essentially. So yeah, generally speaking, I like all of the threads and stories and characters in Coffee Talk 2 marginally more than in the first game. I feel like a lot of characters have, not all, but a lot of them have much more interesting and deeper connections for the most part. And while I made the deja vu joke a bit tongue-in-cheek way earlier, as a Mega Man fan, it should be no surprise that I actually love when a game and its sequel stand alone and stand together at the same time and also look the part. I like that these games
They look
visually
identical.
look identical.
The only major difference between them in terms of visuals is that the characters have different outfits.
Yeah,
That's literally
that's
it.
pretty much it.
Is
yeah.
it true that the second game, it's like raining more outside?
Yeah,
That's
that
a
is
common
true.
thing.
It's
in
almost raining
Oh,
all
and-
the
and
It's
time.
raining. It is raining every day.
and the powers like flickering,
Yeah.
going out. That doesn't really happen
That
in the
doesn't
first
in the
game.
first
But
one.
like little things, little cues are happening. But yeah, it feels like the same game in
Yeah.
a lot of ways.
So I was teasing about the deja vu thing, but I actually did appreciate that these two look like games in a series. There's a hint to Coffee Talk Tokyo in this game, and I hope it follows the trend of standing side by side with the two that came before.
Which would be interesting because Coffee Talk Tokyo is being described as a spin-off, not a sequel. Like
But
it's
what
not,
does that even
It's
mean?
not Coffee Talk episode 3 Tokyo, right?
My guess is that it is going to be your character is not going to be like choosable. It's silver. That is my guess. It is going to be silver because in the game, Silver mentions wanting to be a barista in the same way that the player character is.
Oh.
I think it's going to be Silver who found their way into Tokyo,
And they're traveling the world.
they're traveling the
There you
world.
go. Yeah.
I think it's going to be Silver, and I think it's going to be a different cafe. I hope we have a completely different array of ingredients, and I mean it's in Tokyo now, so we're going to have a much different cast of characters.
So here, do you want to know the hint that they actually give in this? Because I think it's down a bad road, actually.
Oh, interesting.
I don't remember who all is in the cafe at the time. I believe Hyde is the person that mentions this, but he's talking about tea ceremonies in Japan
Okay,
and mentioning it to Disco.
which is your player
mentioning it to the player character.
I
My
was
bad.
immersed there in your playthrough.
You got, yeah, man, you were really in it, huh?
I got to it, yeah. I believe it was Hyde that said this and was talking about learning tea ceremonies to just like up your craft, become a master or
It's
whatever.
a very Hyde thing to say.
It's possible that Silver was actually sitting there in the cafe at the time.
Oh.
So you could still be right because we see Silver traveling by the end of the game. But
Could also
it's-
possibly be Amanda, either Silver or Amanda.
Yeah.
I would take.
Yeah, it says that they're traveling the world, and it says they go to like 3 very specific locations. I don't remember one of them being Japan.
yeah, I don't
right?
remember anything about that.
But they could keep going, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's possible. I think that's a great theory.
But yeah, I think the tea making itself will probably be a little bit different because it's going to be multiple people having the same kind of tea in a tea ceremony.
Okay.
That's my guess.
Cool.
But as it stands right now, I have all the good endings, I have all the bad endings, but there are 2 middle ground endings that I don't. It takes like, I assume it's just a matter of forgetting a specific item on a specific day. I don't care to like guess and check that at the moment, so it'll be something I look up. But that's the only thing I'm really missing aside from challenges. All that being said, I also give Coffee Talk 2 Hibiscus and Butterfly an 8.0 out of 10.
Wow, nice.
Hibiscus and butterfly.
Whoa.
Coffee Talk 2
Hibiscus.
and Butterfly.
Oh my God.
Can you say more in that voice?
What do you mean?
Whoa.
I thought that was the computer at first. I didn't even realize that was you.
You thought that was the computer and not Jenny.
Hibiscus.
Oh my God. Get out of here. I told you to stay at home.
Can you do the small person trapped in a box voice? I feel like that's adjacent to that.
Like, what do you mean, small person trapped in a box?
Rob Brydon, he's a British comedian. He does this trick with his voice where he speaks from the back of his throat And I can't do it, but it sounds like a small guy trapped in a box.
a small guy trapped
But it sounds like someone is in a box.
It's still like muffled.
Yeah.
Mm.
It sounds muffled.
It sounds like someone's trapped in a box.
And when he talks with this voice, his lips barely move. It's like this voice emerging from this small gap
I
in his
cannot do
face.
this.
Like it's,
No.
it's just, it's so soft, and it has a very certain like timbre to it.
I'd have to hear it.
Let me.
No,
play the
don't.
video.
No, it's fine.
we
We can
so
do this after.
Okay, we'll do it later. Listener, look up Rob Brydon, small man trapped in a box.
Also,
Anyway.
Jenny, look up Rob Brydon trapped in a box because that sounds like puppetry adjacent skills
Yeah, he's talked about how to do it on talk shows, and I've tried.
or ventriloquism adjacent skills.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
exactly. My thoughts on Coffee Talk episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly. A lot of what I thought about the first Coffee Talk applies here, but I think this game pays off some stories in satisfying ways. I think this game continues to have strong writing and characterization through the text and the character design. I shout out Andrew Jeremy's scoring. I think it continues to provide a calm and fitting soundscape. The presentation continues to be slick. There are these new ingredients. I continue to love the sound effects, the chopping, the pouring, how fast everything is. Just interacting with the dialogue too, advancing the text. Everything is just so smooth in this game. Always, always, always. The addition of the new tea ingredients and the items are really cool. I love this idea of the items. I think it adds a layer here of choice. And it didn't even occur to me that you could choose to forget to hand someone an item. You know, I was making every best effort to make sure
You were in
items,
good boy mode.
well, it stresses me out to hang on to items in games, right? Especially if someone says like, oh, you need to give this to someone, or if someone forgets something. There's just always this nagging feeling in the back of my mind that I have this thing and I don't want to hold on to it. And I did forget an item at one point. And from that point onward, I vowed to always check my item inventory before serving a drink.
That's
So-
a good habit. I
Yep.
wish I would have had that.
And it only happened because I forgot. I actually redid that day so I could give the person the thing.
Yep.
Which I'm glad the game lets you do that in the middle of a playthrough too.
Yeah.
This isn't something I shouted out on the first game, but I really appreciated it with the item mechanic in episode 2, that you can choose to load game and start the day over, and it even lets you advance the dialogue that you've seen already. It remembers.
And like it doesn't feel like saves coming, even though it literally is. It doesn't feel like saves coming because it's like contextually it makes sense. Like your character, time traveling alien.
Yeah, let me just go back.
Oops, I forgot. Let me just jump back really quick.
Yeah, and I wasn't doing it constantly, mainly because this game, I think to its credit, makes the drinks easier to satisfy for the customers. I did like that. I liked that I was able to get most of, or if not all, the good endings.
Yep.
I didn't get the true ending. I'm not sure what satisfies that.
So to get the true ending in this one is different than in the first one because the secret, the cat is out of the box. You can time travel.
Yep.
It's not about that. It's more about seeing everything. So you literally have to see all the stuff.
all the storylines.
And then there's like
good, bad,
some
and neutral.
based on what you have seen post day 15 stuff that you also have to get right.
Okay.
And
So,
that also gradually changes as you see more stuff.
so it just comes down to like a game completion level, like looking at the achievements
As
and
far
overall
as I can tell.
progress.
Yeah.
Okay, which I didn't do, and I'll get to that in a second, actually. I also like smart decisions that I think this game makes for implementing the new characters early and often.
Yep.
When I saw that there were 2 or 3 prominent new characters, but also a lot of returning characters, I was worried that the new characters would feel out of place. But I think they introduce them early and they have them having these interactions with the older characters right away. Like I think of Lucas talking to Georgie and he calls him Pops or something.
He does
Yeah.
call him Pops.
He's like, hey, I'm going to call you Pops. And then that's his little quirk. And so when Georgie and Lucas are together, he's going to call him Pops. And so they're establishing these nice relationships already.
I kind of like how Lucas does the thing where when he meets somebody, he's a dick. And then when he like gets to know them, his dick facade falls off pretty quick. And he's like a scared little boy who doesn't know what's going on. I
Yeah.
love him.
In some ways, for me, Lucas is like the Baileys in Coffee Talk 1 of Coffee Talk 2, where I'm judging him and he's kind of annoying me. He's not my favorite character, honestly, even with the good ending. Like, I warmed up to him, but then you respect Bailey's more as time goes on in Coffee Talk 1.
Bailey's is also being a friggin' blockhead in Coffee Talk 2 far more than Coffee Talk 1. Oh my God.
I want to in a moment talk about Lua and Bailey's relationship and what happens here. But speaking of that, Lua and Bailey's relationship and how their relationship flourishes and how
or you can kill it. Can you kill it? Disco?
Kill what?
Lua and Bailey's relationship.
No.
Damn it.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, I didn't know. But there are some mature ideas about how their situation can be handled that I think are nuanced and interesting and made me reflect on past relationships. So I like that relationship and what's explored there. When it comes to dislikes, just like what we said earlier, there are just some characters that feel siloed. Pairs of characters that just feel like we could take or leave them.
Yeah.
Myrtle and Aqua standing out here. I respect what you said, Jenny, about Riona. I couldn't connect with Riona as much as I wanted to.
Really?
I really wanted to connect more. Maybe it's because I need to see more stuff that I just haven't seen. But I didn't find Lucas always that likable, like I mentioned. And then there are the overarching storylines like what we get about the investigation.
Georgie's investigation?
Yeah.
That was incredible, I thought.
So there's a chapter where we get background on that. And I felt like it was a lot of telling, and I wanted to just kind of see more.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, we're getting the information.
Very long.
It was very long, and I just couldn't connect with it because it was so much storytelling. And this whole game is storytelling, but what I mean by storytelling is a character is telling us a story from the past, and I just don't always connect with that personally. So there are those overarching storylines that I just feel are a little bit impractically told for me, like the stuff with the tree is kind of what I'm talking, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, maybe my biggest complaint is going back and getting all the completion, getting all of the storylines, which is very important here to get the true ending. I just don't know what I need to do. And like you said, Disco, you've gone back and you've done a lot of work to see the bad endings. You still have 2 storylines or endings that you're not sure how to get.
Yeah, so there are 2 story arcs. I guess I can just say Georgie's and Silver's with Amanda. They both have a good, a bad, and then they have like some sort of middle ground one.
I think I got the middle ground for Silver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think this game makes it very clear at the end that you need to go back, obviously.
I mean, it highlights it in blue text.
It does. Yeah, which is unique. You don't see that anywhere else, or at least I didn't. You can do the chapter selects. When I go back to chapter select, I'm just like,
where?
What do I do?
Yep.
There's nothing about the days telling you you're missing something on this day.
Yeah.
There's nothing about like you have all these storylines completely explored. I wish the game just had something. If it's going to push me in that direction, don't give me this wide open field to like just run around and give me just like a little bit of direction on where to go.
Well, and so much of it is contingent on those items, which is the problem because those items span over the course of multiple days. So you have to play multiple different days.
Yes.
And so for me, just to reduce risk in going back and exploring, I've played through the whole entire game 3 times.
But I think the game wants you to pick and choose. But you also, my understanding is, if you go back and make different decisions on a day, you do definitely need to finish that day so that those decisions lock in for your save and it sort of overwrites.
To be fair, you can fast forward through it pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's nice. I do always praise that about these games. I didn't learn about it until like getting into the time travel stuff in this game. But still, I don't always remember what days had what items. Sometimes the items stick around in your drawer for a day or 2.
And depending on various things that you do on previous days, you will have different items on a given day.
Yes.
Like the Lucas will give you contact information that he wants you to give Riona, but depending on the kind of drinks that you serve him, he will only give you the business card or the fidget spinner.
Okay. I got both.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess a lot of my pros or a lot of my praises also come with criticisms with this game.
Yep.
Because items are dynamic. They're interesting. I get to make so many choices about withholding items, giving items. Who do I give the items to? Which item do I give them? But when overall completion and the true ending is tied into that stuff and the game doesn't tell me, just like give me just a little nibble of information on what to do, it's like, well, now my choices are just so exponential for what I could try.
Yep.
How do I even know how to find this myself? And so I have to go to a wiki. I feel like I have to use a wiki to fully complete this game. And I hate that. I hate that I have to rip myself from the game to go to my phone and look stuff up. I don't like doing that.
I'm of two minds on this kind of issue. With these kinds of things, I will always praise a game for being mean to its players. Like a deliberate choice to be hostile to the player, I think sometimes it can be an intentional decision. And I think with this kind of game it is, where you say, you hit the player with there's more to explore here.
Right.
And then just an open field of, okay, I think there's a couple obvious things that I could try here, and then you go and play around with it. The only incentive to do so is completion. If you want that, you get it. But if you don't really want to, you don't. And there's not really an outside incentive to do so. And I think I think that like the decision to do that is admirable. However, another game that employs like some trickery and misdirection is a game we all like here, I'm pretty sure, Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
I referenced it like 20 seconds ago. There's more to explore here is a thing that shows up at the bottom of every single location card. If there's something that you missed there, it will tell you. It's diegetic, but it doesn't make sense how your computer would know that. It's just the designers being kind of nice.
Yeah.
And then leaving the deduction up to the player, but leaving the information that you are like, there's something you're missing to the actual game. So there's definitely like ways that this could go for both having something there is good, but at the same time, if the game just had here are the endings you got list, I would dislike that, I think.
I think there is a version of that with the achievements.
Yes.
So I guess I could go to the achievement list and do that, and it's not in the game. But the other incentive that's making me want to explore this is what we're doing. Like I have to listen to Disco. I can't talk with Disco about like what he's seeing because I just don't have the energy to just try every variable.
Yeah.
Right.
So the solution is, if you are bored of a game and you want to finish it anyway, start a podcast.
That's right. Someone will fill in the gaps for you. Like that's what I'm looking forward to as I talk about this game more. So
the loose thread that I am most interested in exploring shows up on like I think the second day, and it's the cat with heterochromia.
I still don't have the end to that because it's tied to
the true
finishing
ending.
everything.
I see that cat and I'm like, you show up like 3 times.
Yep.
It's unclear if you're a Nekomimi or not. It's implied that you are.
The assumption is, I mean, you've seen cats show up a few times before.
Both Hendry and Rachel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, I really want to explore this. I want to see what's going on here. But like Disco said, you have to get everything as opposed to like there's like a path that works. It leans more explicitly into you're a time traveler thing because there's multiple endings to get. And I really wonder if like the fact that Riona is the one who shows up at the end of the game makes me go like, what? Why are you here? Because at the end of the first game, it was Silver who shows up and doesn't tell you what's going on, only that you're missing context.
Okay.
And it's like, who's this guy? Like, apparently I know him. What? And then if you give him the right drink when he's Neil, and then you go back and then your character's like, oh yeah, I'm like an older version of the hive mind. I took a very similar path and I'm here now. I'm really curious what would show up if that happens. Maybe that kind of ending would flip my whole perspective on things, because the whole lying to the player thing is what I care about.
Well, I noticed the cat too. I figured I don't have this secret to this. I don't have the full story to this because I either didn't make a right drink or I didn't give an item to the right person. That's just my default assumption because I didn't know there were things tied to getting all the storylines, all the good, bad, neutral.
Yeah.
There's just nothing that's telling me that. So I just learned that just from you two. So.
Yeah. The end of the game, I think, is like very clear about it. It's like multiple times Riona's like, oh, there's things that you could miss. And then your player character like parrots back like, yeah, there's stuff I should do. And then the items that you forget to give or you misgive like drop into the bench and your character's like, these are back. And then like the narrator, quote unquote, like it's like, you've seen a slice of the picture, replay again to see what's going on.
Do you have to go back to those days to get those items again? They don't just stay in your drawer?
So my understanding of how the save file system works is that if you do like the perfect run through, it default saves like the most perfect version of a day until you go in and change it otherwise.
Okay.
It's basically like whatever, if you go to day 1 and you do something, and then there's someone like I think Georgie gives you his lighter, and then if you wait for like day 3, his lighter will still be in there. But if you give the lighter to somebody else on day 2 and then just load into day 3, you won't have the lighter.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, anyway, all that aside, my main praises and complaints largely remain since Coffee Talk, but I ended up feeling even more annoyed that I don't easily know what to do with all this to see all the storylines and get the true ending in this game. The game is still a pleasant sit like its predecessor. The chance to explore some characters further pays off what was started in the first game. For me, this was going to be a 7.5 out of 10, so I was going to give it a slightly higher score. I think I'm going to go just stay with a 7 for this. I think I met a 7 for both games.
Rock on.
Yeah.
Disco, did you give your rating?
Yeah, I did. It was an 8.0 again.
8.0. Oh, you stayed at the same too.
I stayed at the same too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am curious about just like the differences between the first and the second game, what we feel these things add. We have the new ingredients.
Yeah.
We have the items. I guess we've talked about this a little bit already, but any specific examples of ways things changed?
I liked the new drinks. We have new drinks, even some that are not related to the new ingredients.
Yeah.
My favorite one was the alcohol coffee. Where it just like to see it brew, and then it's like the only animated coffee that just shows up, and I'm like, oh my god, it's on fire.
I saw that in a loading screen before I made it, or before I had the chance to make it. I love the one that just has a slice of blueberry pie.
Yeah,
that was so good.
Love that.
Speaking of, I had to message Bo the other night. I was like, be on the lookout for Disco Pie. This isn't a crank call. Because like that's the name of the pie shop that Riona had visited.
Oh,
it's called Disco Pie. But my barista's also called Disco. So I'm like, is it pulling my character name?
Yeah, mine was Gregina Pie. It was very weird.
Well, because
mine didn't. My player character I named Aubrey, so it just said Disco's Pie, and I'm like, that's the.
But for me, because this is happening in the same conversation that they're talking about competitors.
I know.
So I was like, is
this
it
the
literally
spin-off?
Disco Pie? Like someone is
amazing
directly ripping off my name. So
I
had to confirm with Bo when he got
amazing.
to that
Yeah,
point.
Incredible oversight by the developers. Unforgivable.
And I didn't
scored 2 out of 10.
I didn't even know that was about Coffee Talk episode 2. He just said, be on the lookout for Disco Pie. I was like, okay, just in life. And so then I was living every day waiting for Disco Pie to show up somewhere.
I didn't bring another pie to your house.
No, it wasn't that. Oh, I have to give you that recording, by the way.
Yeah.
I have it right here. And I'm playing Coffee Talk episode 2, and I'm lying down on the couch with the Steam Deck. I'm on chapter 8 or 9 or something. My eyes are starting to get a little heavy because I've been reading a lot. I've been playing like 4 chapters. And then Disco Pie shows up, and I'm like, oh,
that's the thing.
Oh, the thing. And I took a picture of my screen and I sent it to him over Discord.
And so I was relieved to see that it was not referencing my character name.
Did either of you try my advice of try to voice the characters?
No.
No,
Dang.
because I wasn't playing it for an audience, and I only do that if I'm playing it for an audience.
But it's so fun.
Yeah, I should have. Yeah, if I know that I would use different, like vastly different voices if I were streaming it.
Yeah.
But that would be a lot of reading.
That's a lot of
That'd
reading.
Be a lot of
it
reading
takes
for
like
stream.
30% longer at least.
Yeah.
And I'm always playing at like 1 a.m. and my house isn't very big, so I'm trying to be quiet.
Yeah. My actually doing all the characters, because there are some characters that have like Gala, who definitely has like a low voice.
Yes.
And someone like Riona, who has like definitely has like a higher, more wispy voice.
Yeah. Wants to be a soprano.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was jumping in between them so often that I think I accidentally like lost my voice because of it for like 2 weeks. And I was just on the tail end of that when last we recorded. So I was going between like a deep, like kind of Gala voice up into this like Riona kind of whispery. She's very like quiet and subdued.
Did any character get the robotic voice?
Amanda. Hello, it is me, Amanda.
I'm gonna be thinking about that. That's gonna be my Roman Empire. Is your robotic voice? Something came to mind. We were talking after our last recording on Coffee Talk 1 about the length of Coffee Talk 1 versus Coffee Talk episode 2.
2's like 3 times as long.
3. So what do we think that does for the experience? Did we like that? Did it seem to fit? Did the runtime seem to fit what was offered here?
So for a first playthrough, I think it's a welcome improvement.
Improvement.
Yes.
Okay.
I think because the first we talked about it, like the first play run through for Coffee Talk 2 is usually like a good hour or 2 longer. The full completionist playthrough is like way longer. But the first run through, I don't know. I remember at the end of Coffee Talk 1 feeling like, oh man, I loved this. I want like 2 more days. I want 2 more days. And then Coffee Talk 2 comes around and it's got about that much more time. There's also not a time skip, because at the end of Coffee Talk 1, there's like stuff happens and then 2 weeks later, you have like a day.
Right.
And this one is just straight through to the end.
Contiguous, like 15 days.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's just more. There's more game in the game, and I like that. I like personally with a game that's fairly short, like Coffee Talk, a sequel just having more game per game. I think that's a good trade-off.
I remember Coffee Talk 1 had one day that was like 10 minutes.
Yep.
I swear it was just microscopic compared to the others. But this one, on average, every day is just longer. So it does add up to like those couple extra days.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. I am mostly
You hate reading.
I do, and I'm mostly indifferent about it. And I think I would like it more if it were for 2 things. If we had more than just the addition of Riona and Lucas. Essentially, they're like the only new addition to the game, apart from Amanda, but she's not in it very much. But also, there was one day where like it felt like a sixth of the game, and most of it was just Georgie explaining
that is a long
investigation, and it just was too much all at once from the same story. That was a huge like speed bump for me.
Yeah, totally. I felt the same way. I said last time that there are some stories that just don't go far enough for me at once before we're kind of get whiplash a bit and transition to another story. But that was an example of a story that was just like way too much storytelling, way too much exposition, I guess.
Yeah. And because I always have Digimon on the brain, I saw the satyr come in, and I saw a banshee, which I was conflating with harpy, and I was like, oh, we're going to get a bunch of Greek mythological creatures, and this will follow the trend of Digimon, who's now doing a Greek-themed, hierarchy. And so I was like, what other kind of Greek creatures are we going to get? And then that was it. So I was like, I was hoping for like 3 or 4 more kind of Greek, like a siren and banshee and harpy are all pretty kind of similar in a lot of ways, but I don't know. I just wanted something like that.
Is there anything that we want to say about stories and storylines?
There was one, like all the storylines I thought were pretty good, even if they were sometimes a little bit siloed. But the one that I think felt the most interesting in the moment was Myrtle and Aqua's storyline.
Interesting.
About how Aqua is like an indie developer who wants to sign with this toxic publisher because this toxic publisher has made some of her favorite games. And I was like, okay, I wonder how much of this comes from this team's experience. Like, it feels personal.
Yeah.
Which is maybe why it feels kind of like so isolated and so like abrupt, because it's like this, it feels like this happened. It does kind of, I hate to make this comparison, but it does kind of remind me of Annapurna.
Yeah.
Annapurna has made some of my favorite, or has produced some of my favorite games. They're also famous for being a little insane.
Yeah. We've talked about some of these stories on our show.
Yeah. Like, I was recently reading a little bit more about like the history of Outer Wilds and like the development of it, and the game's publisher is Annapurna Interactive. Annapurna broadly also is just kind of insane, but Annapurna Interactive, like the entire staff for Annapurna Interactive quit. Like the entire publishing company just up and left.
And everybody thought, well, that's the end for them.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly they're up to. I know that they were doing they were starting what seemed like a yearly trend of here's what Annapurna Interactive is working on this year, and then soon after everyone's gone.
Well, I believe they put out at least 2 games since that big, exodus. I couldn't name them, but
yeah,
I remember seeing them in a showcase. I'm like, but I thought even like the ones that they had already started, I thought that those ones were already out. But here we are with another. So.
Regardless, though, like Outer Wilds, my favorite game, a lot of tampering from the production company. Also, a lot of the best parts of Outer Wilds came from the tampering of the production company. It's very weird. Like the interactive story and the way that things kind of flow together from a narrative perspective didn't exist until it got picked up by Annapurna.
Interesting.
And I'm thinking like, man, I really wonder if Toge was ever working with such a similar, or maybe going to work with such a similar company, because Coffee Talk is the kind of thing that Annapurna might, at the very least, kind of put like a little bit of money towards. But I have no idea.
I could see that.
It could be vague posting. It also could just be a reference to something else.
Well, it's not a story we haven't heard from developers here in our time during Underplayed. Like, we've heard similar stories relatively frequently. We've also heard the opposite story in a couple of cases too, where it's like publishers have been even better than expected. So it runs the gamut. But I do agree that it does feel personal. Like, there's detail in there that probably doesn't exist if it's not something you personally experienced.
Yeah. Like the specific info of like, the contract is good, except for this one nightmare clause that could kill you, which is the big disagreement between Aqua and Myrtle. And the good ending is when Aqua rejects it.
Yeah. And I was like, go Aqua. That's cool.
In the bad ending, does she accept it?
No.
But
they are still in conflict.
Okay.
Interesting.
It just never gets resolved?
No, I mean, they don't break up, but they're not talking at the moment.
Dang.
Yeah. I think there's a strong possibility there with an actual lived experience being commented on in the game. I think they were sort of speaking through Aqua in a moment in the first game.
Yeah.
There's a moment when Aqua is just talking about the philosophy of indie games and what they offer.
I'm sure that didn't resonate with anybody on this podcast.
It was cool. Like,
it's almost like that's the reason it stood out.
Yes. It's just a little moment, but it stands out and it's memorable to me. Maybe a little bit forced, but I could tell that was like the team being passionate for a moment, which was cool. Like, go ahead, do it.
Go on.
What was the overarching question that we're on right now? Stories?
Oh, just stories, meaningful interactions or how storylines played out. If you want to talk more about what you've seen that we haven't.
Yeah, again, in the bad endings, especially as you get to like days 13, 14, and 15, you get some really like
raw,
vulnerable conversations.
Oh, man.
My favorite moment, at least for recency's sake, is a conversation between Lucas and Rachel near the end of the game that doesn't include Riona because she's not
showing
there.
Up. Yeah.
And we learned so much about Lucas in that moment that really, I mean, I already liked him plenty, but it really just like grounds him as a character and creates a lot of like sympathy for his character arc. And so I wish I didn't like the bad endings so much, but I think most of them are better.
I gotta seek those out. I gotta
Yeah.
play now.
And
Because I think the way to get Rihanna to not show up is to incorrectly give her incorrect drinks a couple of times, and
Yeah.
she's just not there anymore.
yeah. But again, I have to throw it to Lua and Bailey's and their wedding night and how they decided to go to a coffee shop directly from their wedding. On my wedding night, on my wedding night, we were married and our reception was in a reception hall that was underneath a pub. And then we just
Went upstairs.
everybody was gone before 10 p.m. And we're like, okay, that we didn't expect to be going home before 10. We went upstairs to the pub. They gave us free food.
Let's go.
And
cool.
so it was, it just reminded me of my wedding night.
It feels a little bit like the prom group that goes bowling
Yeah.
instead of going to prom.
God,
I like the
bowling
energy.
is so much more fun than prom. As someone who never went to prom because COVID killed it.
Oh, there you go. Well,
Although it's probably good that it killed it because I was going to make regrettable decisions.
the wedding night moment in the coffee shop is nice. It has like kind of a conclusion feeling to it.
Mhm.
Feels like a chapter closing.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of the characters coming together for celebration, reflection, and also where they talk about these mature like relationship ideas, I think, with Lua and Bailey's.
And to have like Hyde and Gala there, if you manage to get them there, is really nice, especially
Yeah.
because I consider Hyde and Bailey's in particular to be largely incompatible, but I think they both cause each other to grow in different ways.
Yeah. I mean, that was like, in the first game especially, that was a pretty driving dynamic that it caused conflict that drove the plot.
Mhm.
Like, as Bailey's would say, like, I got this going on. And then Hyde to be like, shut up, stupid fool. I'm way older than you are. You're a baby child. Listen to me because I'm cool. And then Bailey's would be like, but you're like, what do you mean? That doesn't make any sense. And he's like, shut up. And then throws him the bird and then leaves. And then Bailey's realizes later.
Yeah. and then on this night, Bailey's is just pulling out this parable, I guess, that sort of summarizes or harkens back to his and Lua's relationship. And it was beautiful. I thought it was a beautifully written little moment.
That felt like to me, that felt particularly striking, like kind of a vague post about Christianity broadly, like a very dominant cultural force that has obvious narratives about why the dominant cultural force is wrong. And I found that to be very, very insightful.
Yeah.
A little pointed, but insightful.
Yeah. Anything else that we take away about Coffee Talk episode 2 in general?
I like hibiscus tea. There's a place downtown that has a hibiscus drink.
Nice.
Not hibiscus. A butterfly pea.
Hibiscus.
Yeah. They have a butterfly pea drink, and I like how they give you a little bottle of something else you can pour into it, and it turns purple.
Oh yeah,
It's
Yep,
very
yep,
good.
yep, yep. Love that.
You both know what I'm talking about, probably.
Yep,
Well,
I've had it.
Yeah.
I haven't had it, but I think you mentioned it in the last episode.
I did.
actually.
I do like it. It's very tasty.
Yeah, it's the experience and the drink all in
Yeah.
one. I love that stuff.
Yeah, I like the knickknack shelf in the back. Thank you for the visual like trophy of making progress in this game that is larger than I want it to be.
Yeah, I like that too. I need to pay more attention to that. I'm glad we could talk about both games on Underplayed with you, Jenny.
I'm glad that I was allowed to show up and speak my truth to power.
Yay! Can you tell listeners about where to find your work? You talked about this in the last episode, but just, to wrap us up.
You find it in a hole somewhere, I guess. If you want to hear more from me, I host a show, KZUM, on the one of the live programs, Lavender Hill with Phil. Talk about local and LGBTQ issues. Local being mostly from Nebraska or the Midwest, and LGBTQ issues from being kind of anywhere. Bonus points if we can get them in the same place. I also am a little bit more into my new job with Progressive Victory. I regularly host some shows on there. I interview candidates all the time. If you wanted to, the most recent one I did was I interviewed Erica Watkins from who's running for Congress in Oklahoma's 1st District.
Nice.
Yeah. I can't believe I just remembered that off the top of my head. It's over for me.
Wow.
You found your calling.
I thought my calling was electrical engineering, and I just dropped it to do other stuff, I guess.
But you have something to fall back on.
Yeah,
just in case.
Just in case.
Or you can use it for evil and do both.
I love the idea of using it for evil to do both.
Yeah.
Can make the various evil things that I thought of were all vaguely law-breaking, so I'm not going to talk about them.
Don't reveal them.
That's the bad storyline side of what you have to offer.
Yeah,
take Georgie's advice, learn the rules so that you can masterfully break them.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, I don't think I can masterfully break the rules of no EMPs.
And on that note, that is... Jenny, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much for having
meant so
me.
much. Thank you. That's our review of Coffee Talk Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly. You can play it on PC, Mac, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series. Jenny rated it a 7. DiscoCola rated it an 8. I rated it a 7. That's the end of this episode of Underplayed. You can find more of our episodes at kzum.org/underplayed and on common podcast platforms. Our music was composed by Jack Rodenberg. Our art comes from Onimochi. Check out our show notes where you can find and follow us across social media. Underplayed is on Bluesky, Instagram, and Threads. You can also find my links down below, and I stream a variety of indie games on Twitch.
And I am in some of those places that you can access with a browser. And just as a reminder, Underplayed is also on YouTube, where we post the episode with just a little bit of visualizer going on. So if you want to listen to your podcast there, you can find us there as well.
Next time, we'll have 2 more secret games to review, and our featured game will be Don't Starve Together, a co-op survival game developed by Clay Entertainment. Until then, everyone, go bonk on.